Alright, so as we all know, Roblox is a platform that runs entirely on community-made games, and learning game development ain't no joke. Now granted, Roblox games do not have the prestige of other traditional games, but this doesn't mean that making these games are easy, especially when you're starting. I remember that when I started and I learned the syntax of coding or scripting, however you want to call it, I didn't really know what to use it for or how to use it to make games. By the way, by syntax I mean like the words you use to create code. Okay, so why is it that it's so hard for people to actually start using scripting correctly so they can code these fun and immersive games? I mean, after all, you learn how to script, right? Well, you'd be right, but now you have to learn how to use the code that you create to make games. In other words, scripting itself is not the thing that's gonna let you make games. Scripting is the tool. Now you need to learn how to use the tool. Imagine you're a carpenter. What you've actually done when you're done learning the basics of scripting is just getting the tools for you to start working. I know this sounds depressing since you've put in so much effort already, but I promise, if you've already learned the syntax of the code, you've already made incredible progress. Just keep pushing a little longer. So what do you have to do to actually start making games? How do you learn to use your newly acquired tool? I'll give you a couple of options, but before that, I need you to understand one thing, and this is incredibly important if you're someone that's expecting to stay as a scripter for a while. If you don't know this, I guarantee you'll have a hard time. Scripting is not an activity that you can just do like every other activity. But Ludius, what do you mean? You know how there are some things that you can do while relaxing? Like for example, your school teacher left you a homework assignment in which you have to like copy some text or whatever, or maybe you're gonna answer some questions, you type those questions into ChatGPT and you get your answers, and your mind can like sit back, go on autopilot and just copy what it needs to copy. Well, scripting would be more like math. It's an activity in which your brain will be a lot more active than you think. And no, it's not gonna be like math because you're gonna be actually doing a bunch of math. The actual reason why your brain is gonna be active is because your scripting actually requires a lot of creative thinking. A lot of people look at code and think, damn, that must use a lot of math, when in reality, what you're gonna be needing the most when you're scripting is the ability to think outside the box. It uses a lot more creativity than math. Scripting is not this linear methodical like process that you can just do while following instructions. I mean, you can if you're copying what someone else has done, but ultimately when you're building something by yourself from scratch, your ability to come up with effective ways to create a bunch of systems that work together in harmony is what's gonna push you through. I'll come back to this in a while, but let's hold on to that for now. Now that you know this, there are just two ways in which you can actually learn to code, and one thing that is going to make sure that your progress is as smooth as possible. The first way to learn how to code is to start looking at tutorials on YouTube, learn how to research about the stuff you want to do, etc. If you're someone who struggles with scripting and you're learning by yourself, then the best thing you can do is learn how to find the things that you want to make before you make them. Essentially trying to find someone else that has done what you're trying to make. This is something that every single scripter does unless they're like God tier, but chances are you're starting out and therefore you're not that guy at the moment. Every single thing that you're trying to make, chances are someone else has already done it, and chances are that they've done it in a way that will skip you a whole phase of debugging code so you can get it to work perfectly. If you get very good at this, then you will find yourself not only learning a lot more from the code and instructions you find to make what you want to make, but also you will find yourself finishing systems or even whole projects a lot faster. So summing up, if you're learning by yourself, the best thing you can really do is see how other people have done what you're trying to do, examine their code and try to replicate it. I'd suggest trying to understand it before you replicate it, but I will admit though, sometimes copying the code directly could be beneficial, but the downside to it is that you won't be able to add any modifications to it, which can actually be something that you want. Now, the second and actual best way to learn scripting, or really anything in my opinion, is to just get some sort of mentor. You can also try to just make friends and they'll be able to help you a bunch, or maybe even just join a scripting server or dev community in which you can post your problems. Having access to someone more experienced than you that's able to guide you to where they're at is something incredibly valuable. I recently made a video on my 2-year scripting journey, and if you look at my progression, you will see that in the first 3 to 6 months of my journey, my progress was absolute trash. I was barely able to make the simplest stuff. The reason being because I didn't know how to research for the stuff that I wanted to make, and also guess why? Because I didn't have anyone there to teach me or correct me or educate me on what's the best ways to make the stuff that I want to make. So I pretty much just had to try every single single way of making things until I found the best one. Imagine you're in a maze, right? Having a mentor is the equivalent of having a map to navigate the maze. That's how it feels for real when you ask someone how to do something and you get an answer. And then the last thing that's gonna make sure that your scripting journey goes as smooth as possible is not forgetting that in order for you to be able to think outside the box, your mind needs to be in optimal condition. And no one's talking about this because it's not just some simple trick or biohack that you can easily implement to just get better overnight. But you're still here. If you've gotten this far into the video, then chances are that you want to actually take scripting seriously, so you need to take care of your health. Who in this space have you heard say that to you? The thing is, if you have a lot of brain fog, meaning if your brain is preoccupied thinking about other things, if you have high levels of anxiety, if you're feeling down, then you will just not be able to think outside the box. For your creativity to kick in, and I'm talking about the real creativity, the type of creativity that's going to let you give life to your games, if you want that to kick in, you need to guard your brain's condition. You need to make sure that your brain is as optimal as possible every time you script. And I'm gonna say something that's probably going to be offensive towards other people, but fuck it. Most people's brains are straight up fucked. If you've stayed this far, you might be the exception, but think about it. You know that most people would have clicked off the video by probably minute 1, minute 2 at most. This will be the people that you will see in a social setting just mindlessly scrolling through their Instagram feed. NPCs, bro. Their attention span is messed up. How you gonna expect to learn new stuff, reading articles or watching more advanced videos about scripting, if your attention span is just not right? As of recently, I had to pay the price of slowing down my developer progress just because my brain's too tired. I've been sacrificing sleep, trying to get more done. Sometimes it's okay, but if you do it for long periods of time, like I did, eventually you're gonna burn out and your mind won't be able to fully concentrate at the task at hand. It's obvious, like this is obvious, but most people choose to ignore it. You're probably all your friends stay up until late at night, probably 1, 2, 3 a.m. just playing games. They're literally fucking up their brain willingly, and you don't realize the consequences this has on your brain. Like, bro, things I could have done easily in 15 minutes would all of a sudden take 25, 30 minutes, or sometimes even more. You don't want to be there. So guard your health, optimize your brain so you can power through development sessions a lot quicker. And if you paid attention to the video, you're gonna see that almost by the end of the video, I actually changed the mood of the video, like my tone and everything. I got more serious, and the reason being is because for the start of the videos, I have to maintain like a certain vibe, this YouTuber like friendly vibe that everyone's putting in front of. You have to maintain that when you're like starting a video, because otherwise no one's gonna watch your video for enough time for the algorithm to promote it. But after a certain time, I just know that the people that are gonna be left on the video are actually the people that want to see the video, and that's why I'm keeping it 100 after some time. And just saying this to you, some things that people don't really talk about, because everyone's talking about what's the best way to script, the best books to script, the best tutorials to script, the best playlist to script. But in reality, like, it doesn't really matter that much. Like, if your brain is fully optimized, you won't really need to get like the best of the best to learn how to script, or the best of the best to learn how to script faster, or get whatever you wanna get faster. It's literally all about your brain and your mindset. If your brain is healthy, your mindset will be a lot better. You will be able to stay consistent for a lot longer. And it's just all about your brain, man. Just guard your health. Please do me that favor. Don't do it for you, do it for me. Just guard your health, because if you're someone that really stayed until the end of this video, I'm telling you, you have potential to be a developer, and it would be a shame to let that go to waste just because you didn't guard your health, and then you like burn out one day and then you just decide to quit. This said, keep leveling up, bro. Be safe, and I'll see you when I see you. Peace.